Hello, everybody. Hey, brother. How are you? Hey, Jam. How are you?
First of all, before all of that, happy birthday, Luke.
Oh, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Happy birthday, broski.
I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank
Please
you so
continue
much.
as you do.
Hey, everyone listening at home. Hey, if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Music, if you're watching on YouTube, thanks so much. Please subscribe. Please like, comment, do all that stuff. We now have a Patreon. I'm going to put the link here. Thank you so much.
Whoa. HBO levels. Love it.
How are you, brother?
Good. Very good. We're in a cool period. Work's nice. A little busy.
Good.
Going into a little busy period. But I feel, I feel good. Aware.
Mm-hmm.
Just aware of my surroundings.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it is helping me to find balance. Busy time as well, kind of even with stuff that's happening at school, GCSEs and stuff going on, and just crazy.
Yeah, I want to point out that Sean literally 2 seconds ago just called one of his students to congratulate them on attending their exam because they weren't trying to turn up, right?
Okay, cool. For for the benefit of what I call protocols and right ethical standards, yes, I spoke to my student via her mum.
Wasn't it?
No, of course, no, 100%. But you know, there are always those people that
you got to say what you got to say.
You have to say and let people know that it's the right channel
100%.
and stuff. Yes, spoke to her mum because this morning I got a little message to say that there might be a chance that they won't be in attendance. And I was just like, oh, no, not today. So I was with Jam. And I Jam, I got to make a little call. He's like, yeah, cool, do your thing. And the beautiful thing, Lucas, I realize that with a lot of my students, what I teach them today is unlikely for tomorrow, maybe for next week, probably for next month, definitely for the next 10 years. And a lot of us visually, and we had this conversation when we spoke about the difference between the nice guy and the good guy. It's not always easy to put in that amount of intentional work and labor. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? And then have payment deferred for 5 years into an account you have no access to. So you're only hoping that what you receive back from it is the residual nature of how that will then be seeped into society's environment.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So a lot of the time it feels quite thankless if you see teaching as an occupation and not a vocation. The best teachers never saw it as an occupation. Yeah. It's not about just bagging up bare holidays, half terms and bank holidays. Yeah. No. That's where you go for recovery.
In fact, not only is it not you don't receive the thank you for it, you sometimes receive the aggression or the frustration of the person who knows they're not fulfilling or doesn't feel they're capable of fulfilling what they are capable of.
Or can't see it.
Yes.
Because what they are, and we say this a lot when we converse, if there's 3 dimensions, sea, land and air, most of my students are sea urchins that have just become land animals. And I mean that. No.
And I don't even think about the sky yet, right there. What is that thing up there?
Listen. Excuse me.
Man, start checking on the truth right there, man. Once it downloads from your soul too quick.
Seriously, I had a situation yesterday where one of my students, he was having a moment and he was talking to a colleague in a way where I said, listen, there's no way he's going to do that over there and then think he's coming over here with me and everything's cool.
Wow.
It ain't cool.
We ain't cool, brother.
It ain't cool.
I saw what you were doing.
I said, yo, come here.
Someone robs your neighbour's house and turns up at yours for dinner. Bro, I don't want to let you in.
I know where that crockery's from. I ate at number 26 last week. Does June know you got her bowl? No, she don't, because you crept in through the window whenever he's asleep.
So my dearest Ernie. You don't know an Ernie.
Lucas. So I sat and I said, okay, cool. I understand what you're saying. I understand the emotional content of it. That, though, is not what we've agreed as mutual agreements. First thing I did with my students and especially my year 11 males, I took my keys off. Now, my keys allow me to have access to all of the major rooms in the building, so the front door, side door, like the parts of the building you'd use that are strictly for teachers. My fob's on there, my ID's on there. Now, I said to my students, this is the visual version of power. Wow. I made them all sit in a circle. We all stood in a circle. And I put the keys in the middle. I said, when you're with me, you have access to this power. I said, I'm not going to use this to lord it over you, to make you feel less than me. I need to get you to a place where you understand the responsibility of this. And if I leave this with you, you're accountable. Broke every single wall. Because the thing that was the fence now became the gate. That just hit me. Bro, I'm done. I want to go home.
I think we're done.
Lucas.
Thanks for listening to Spill. That's the end of the series.
Luke's. Because that's the thing that stops them having access and dominion.
Yes.
Dominion is just authority.
Yes.
It's what you dominate. So if I'm saying to you, I'm at the top of the food chain, but I'm going to bring what is purely meant for me and I'm going to lay it between us. Then what I'm doing is I'm deconstructing their idea of what control really is. Yes. Control isn't your ability to hold onto it as tight as you can until the blood drains from your hands or until you suffocate the thing and kill it. That's not control. Control is my ability to allow you to rest in the palm of what I hold, and it gives you the free will to stay there or leave. And where does the choice lie? With you. So I explained to them,
Gassing me up, bro.
if you negatively choose, then the laws that have been set on the earth mean that choice will produce a negative consequence or a restrictive consequence. So what you had was freedom. And your inability to be responsible for freedom brought you into restriction. When they start understanding, and they didn't get it straight away, a couple of them did. They were like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I saw the ones where the light bulb went on. And what I've seen them do, they're killing their exams. Like, they're coming in, they're ready, they're focused, they're in the house. The others who the race is a little longer for, you just see little hurdles being knocked down. And what they'll never understand is that the purpose of what I'm doing with them is completely in line with the wide angle view of what we are, what the company is, what we're trying to re-sow in the world. Because we understand that seed time and harvest means that I plant at this point to reap at that point for it to then become sustenance for the next point. And whilst we're getting through what is sustaining us, we're planting for the next one.
Bro, it's amazing because it's amazing you mentioned this because in a way, I suppose the entire ethos, spoken and unspoken about a company, is response, not reaction.
Yes.
In general, and that's scalable in every situation.
100.
But I'll be really honest if I'm saying I'm practicing that, what we're preaching in every facet of my life because, bro, it's a daily battle, I think, you talk about choices as well. It's a daily battle to consider what to separate what feels like a choice from what is your almost pre-programmed, preconditioned or learned behaviors of how to respond to a situation. Yeah. Because if you look back at any sort of negative moment in your life, not any, but a lot of the sort of the moments where you're like, how the fuck did I get here? Like, and when you know that you've tracked your own behavior to a point where you're like, this is so far from the idea of myself, the idea I have of myself, or my ideals. There's a moment in there where you do choose.
100%.
And it's sometimes difficult to feel like you're choosing in the moment.
100%.
My birthday yesterday was a good example of this, bro.
You know what? Yes, I felt this. And we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to say to you, though, is that what I think allows... It almost creates authenticity within our process is the honesty when it doesn't go right.
Yeah, man.
And that's something that I really want to stress to people. That the nature of the conversations we have aren't on the basis of two people that are living this completely perfect walk and version of life where we don't experience the same things everybody else experiences and goes through. We've just been fortunate and blessed enough to be in a situation where our purposes aligned on a creative and business level, but at that same time, the personal investment through perceiving what a person's journey really is.
Yes.
Jahmal and I were in the car coming down, and I was talking to one of my boys, and the basis was, I was like, bro, there is a little jump off happening in X.
Right.
Now, Luke, you know me because we're in business. I like certain things. And I like what I like. And I like it the way I like it. And so...
It sounds so mysterious. Anyone could impute that with anything they want. They're like, I have no idea what he means, but I like it. I like the way he said it.
Luke, you man know me.
Yeah.
I like things a certain way. We're here because we like what we like.
100%.
The way we like
100%.
it. How we like it.
Yeah.
Apart from when stuff gets deleted, but we'll deal with that another time. No, because we're still here.
That's a conversation for another one.
You already know we done sorted that out.
Yeah.
So I'm phoning my boy, who I know, he likes the same type of things I like, in the way I like it.
Got you.
So I'm like, okay, cool. Can you facilitate this? Now, the reason being is that you kind of, you get in modes where you align yourself to not only what's familiar, but what's in the same rhythm as you. Does that make sense? And I think that when you see yourself in that moment, one of the most powerful things to do is to not feel the need to upset the rhythm.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, we judge the rhythm not based on us, but on another. And that's not a problem until you're trying to make a time signature that doesn't fit.
Yeah. 100%.
I've been on the stage before where we're playing one thing and the audience can hear what we're playing, but in my ears, there's something else going on.
There's some...
I thank God they can't
some
hear
fall
what
to
I
the
can
floor
hear.
that I don't recognise.
There's some clicks and some clacks. I'm like, I don't know if they're supposed to be there. But my instruction has always been, if you know your job, you honestly, and one day we will do a poddy just on Kwame, because literally...
Oh, wow. Part Crowe band, right? The MD?
The MD. I'm going to tell you something. Kwame can play the whole set with nothing but a click. No. I need you to understand this. And it'll go like this. So let's say, fill me in. Okay? Fill me in. 1, 2. That's for 4 minutes. Needs no cues. No. The repetition.
Wow.
Has been so much that he's like, should everything go wrong, I can play.
Yeah.
When I fully understood...
Wow, that's... Oh, yeah.
Lucas.
Yeah.
The first time I tried it, I went... Lucas, you have no idea.
Man said tried it in italics as well.
Highlighted. The first time I tried it, I'm so glad I did it on my own. Because I'm the type of guy that I'll gas myself and try. Guys, yeah.
I got
Give me
that.
a click, I'll do it now.
Yeah. I'll do it live.
I'm so
No
glad
rehearsal.
that humility was sitting right on the... I went, I'm going to try this at home first, in private.
100%.
But as I repeated, I understood that my understanding of the show was only surface level. So I wasn't serving to the capacity to which I had. The minute I started to appreciate everything else that happens, I filled in all the blanks. Not with me, but with a perfect understanding of them. Didn't change my rhythm.
Yeah.
Didn't change my flow.
Yeah.
But it allowed me to sit in pocket. And still understand what they do.
Mm.
And over here is a completely different part to what I'm playing.
Mm. Oh, Lord. There's also some beautiful metaphor in there somewhere about the audience not knowing what's incorrectly in your in-ears, you know what I mean? Because if they... Oh, my God, there's so much to unpack in that. Like, the idea... I suppose we're talking about that whole perception thing of, like, appearing as if everything's perfectly put together and, you know, like, it's difficult to even articulate, oh, no, I've got a different BPM in my ear. I know it looks like... Because you can hear the drums, you can hear the... So when I'm hearing...
Yes.
Like, it's hard to even articulate that
Yes.
I'm having a different internal experience. And I can't communicate that to you because it will break the structure.
Yes. Or how I'm meant to impact on you.
Yeah.
So the B side of what I was saying about even my friend that I was talking to with Jan before we got here was that imagine I'm trying to set up a motive of we're going away. I like this. I know you know where the bad boy villas and apartments and stuff is at. Can we hook this up? Yeah, cool. All right, cool. Tell me what we need to say to your attachments so that it's calm and we can go and potentially have fun, just to relax. Like, Lucas, we spend so much time working that I've allowed myself often, Jam, and I think we do this in our creative environment.
Yeah.
Because of sometimes the visual nature of the locations and places that we either work or we're being creative in, we try and tell ourselves we're having a work holiday. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing.
My man.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
And something that we've spoken about that I've really taken on, it was just like, Shean, you have to be intentional about your moments of respite and recovery.
Yeah, man.
So
yeah.
with Karim, I'm like, okay, cool. And I've just outed my guy.
So man, name drops and everything. Okay. Let's tag him. Fuck it. Let's tag him.
So with Karim, I'm phoning him. I'm like, okay, cool. You want to do da-da-da? He's like, yeah, come, we do da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, all right, wicked. And I'm like, you know that project and so-and-so was asking about there. All right, let's finish it when we go. Wicked, let's finish it. That only moves me on to someone that is very close to him. The conversation, 2 minutes into it from that point, I very quickly realised this had nothing to do with me going to see anyone, being in any type of location and doing any recording. Jam, am I lying?
Jam shaking his head.
Yeah, Jam shaking his head, by the way, guys. Everyone's just like, he didn't say nothing. This guy
Who is this Jam they speak of?
Bro, I then realised that I was meant to speak to him about intervening in the life of someone that's very close to him,
Right.
that requires something from him that is non-visual.
Right.
And because my friend is still coming to terms with the greatness of his purpose and capacity, he very rarely recognizes that he is being positioned to mediate, because he can't understand why something so intrinsically powerful would be put in him. But first time
in terms of his
in terms of how he regulates those that come around him.
Okay.
The types of situations
sort of
he gets
satellite
into,
kind of
oh my
way.
gosh. He walks into situations on accident regularly.
Got you.
That are, they're life-changing.
Got you.
Life-changing. And he doesn't see it. Because he has a version of himself that is not bad, because you can't do what he does and not understand where your talents are.
Yeah.
But other than it being surface, he doesn't see the depth of purpose that's inside him.
It's so interesting.
So when I spoke
Yeah.
to him, I was just like, let me ask you a question. I said, have you ever thought that it could be da-da-da-da-da-da-da? Let it sit, let it sit, let it sit. And because I know him, I know when it's going in. And I go, now imagine that you actually hit this point to show that, to give this person this. And when we got down to it, it was very simple. I said, the intrinsic nature of what you possess in love, joy, and peace is so infectious that a person will forego a business scenario just to personally be in the presence. And because you don't see what you're putting out, because it's like an artesian world, it's self-generating, you're just like, I don't get it. And sometimes we need an objective person with a subjective view to speak into a moment.
Yes.
It just widens the view a little bit, and we go, so that's where it is.
This is I've meant it a lot lately, because I'm thinking about, I started a conversation with my girlfriend ages ago, and not to get super dark on the back of a very positive thing I'm talking about, but it's necessary. I was talking about why people feel anger when someone they love either commits suicide or self-harms or lives in any way that's negative towards themselves, right?
Yeah.
Because I suppose what we're talking about is being able to tell someone who they are in a way that they can't see.
Yes.
And the conclusion I came to with that is that the reason we feel that sort of response to it, that sense of anger at a time when someone's extremely vulnerable, is because, for example, if you lose someone you love who's a friend, you're also experiencing, you killed my friend.
Right.
So it's like you, I'm not talking to the you that is the capital Y you, I'm talking to the inner you. Or you are hurting my friend, you are hurting my loved one, you by not acknowledging who you are, let's say in a career way, in a purpose way, or in that extreme example I just gave, you are damaging the person I love. You're in their way. We have a problem. And I think that's where so much of that anger and frustration comes from, when people have, I know, people who are alcoholics in their life, or people who are down to the smallest level of someone who won't apply for the job they know they're capable of. You're in my friend's way. I don't like it. You need to get out of someone. I care about that person so much. And if you could just shut the fuck up for a minute, they'd be who they need to be. Do you know what I mean? And, oh man, yeah, we need those people. Like, that's what being a good teacher is. That's exactly what that phone call you made to your student is saying. Listen. I know you don't want to come downstairs. I know you don't want to go to school today. Get out of the way, bruv. Because my student needs to go to school today. I've got to look after her. That's what the conversation you're actually having is. You know what I mean? And
not to cut you.
No, please.
You said something amazing. Sometimes the anger or the sense of responsibility that we feel in those moments comes from knowing they are somewhere that we can't get to them. Yeah. Imagine, and this is such a, I don't mean this as a to be insensitive. For the last decade and a half, longer probably, we've been searching for Madeleine McCann. What you said, the best way for me to put it, imagine her parents know where she is, right, but just can't get to her. That's what that's like.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, exactly.
You know where they are.
Yeah, but I cannot get there. I can't make you see.
If they got her back at the age that she was separated from them, that's nearly a whole childhood. Oh, bro. That version of her, maybe somewhere, maybe if it survived. But I've had to stick it on people I love several times, and people who've loved me have stuck it on me just as hard. And I actually think that's a huge factor of what it means to love someone. To be able to be like, listen, to believe those who care about you when they tell you that you're falling short of the glory. But you know what also it is? Sometimes,
as long as it's not been manipulated, obviously.
100%. Sometimes we have to degas ourselves though. We have become so powerful and autonomous with our advancements, with our progression as humans, that we take all power and dominion onto ourselves. And the only time, or the only times that we recalibrate is when we get what I call unrequested grace checks. I got a couple grace checks this week. I was talking to my brother about it. Wally's home.
Oh, hey, Wally.
Hey, yeah.
Love to William. It's his birthday, day from when, right?
Yeah.
I
got a couple very close people to me in May.
Couple Taurian brothers.
Listen, I roll with the bulls, man.
Is he as stubborn as I am?
Listen. Don't even. Do not even.
My greatest strength and my greatest weakness all wrapped in one.
The management. My voice went.
Man, the pain in management.
Listen, and I love my little brother deeply.
Of course.
Like very deeply. I had to learn to ease it up a little bit.
Okay.
It was that thing I was saying earlier. It was suffocating.
In a protective way, or in a
protection.
Yeah.
Suffocating way.
Yeah,
I love being a big brother.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it.
For sure.
My mum had to remind me, you're his brother, not his parent.
Ooh.
Fall back.
Yeah, man.
Fall back.
I have a very overinflated sense of responsibility to others, who I care about.
But that's because of your heart.
And yeah, and because I think I'm very sensitive to what you're saying. I'm very sensitive to suffering.
Yes.
And I guess that conversation we had, but the difficulty with that, and I think a lot of people feel that, and I think especially like male figure, like father energy.
Mm-hmm.
I think like your mate's dad, who's always sort of on the edge of like curiosity. Like a lot of that, probably the real root of that somewhere down the barbed wire tunnel of it is, oh, I care about you. How can I help this? But it comes across as like aggression. Yeah, because it's like, just listen to what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like rather than.
But I had to, once I respected his process in terms of, okay, here is a person that can be a little bit stubborn.
Right.
Yeah. And Wallace has what I call, and he won't mind me saying this, because he was the baby.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
He was always, how do I put it? He was always there, but wasn't always maybe the most vocal.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And you're dealing with like a complicated sibling that's around about the same age as you, but is doing these things that is visually okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm this over here, but then when I come over here, I'm just his brother again.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
We're sharing a room. We're the same thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I realized that once I gave his process time and patience.
Yes.
And that it wasn't about me through him.
Yep.
But him on his own and me understanding the balance of what I needed to be around him. That shit was amazing. It was amazing. So, yeah, in terms of the whole kind of you made babies. yeah, I'll mess with you, man.
Let's talk about birthdays.
Yes, sir.
Bro. So like,
happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you, family. I appreciate you.
Happy
26,
birthday.
man. It's a strange age. I'm closer to 30 than I was yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. But why 30
every day.
20, by the way?
So that's true for every day, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the moment you're born, you're closer to 30 than you were the day before.
100%. But you've got a swag that's a lot more mature than even what some people here say 26. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's only 26.
Yeah, someone said yesterday, and I was like, you're right. That is, I mean, but I think it's that thing where I'm extremely ambitious, and I'm like, oh man, you almost got those like touchstones in your head of like, wow, by the time whoever was 21, they did it, you know what I mean? And actually, I'm very grateful for my life. I've already lived a very rich, full life that I'm proud of. So I mean, I should relax on that. Right. It's been a lot, bro. Actually, it's been when I sit and think about it, like I've lived a couple lives, man. And yeah, bro. I think we both have. But yeah, like, but birthdays are always a funny one for me. It's always been a turbulent time, actually.
Okay.
And I think it's a similar thing to like, I think a lot of people relate to this, Christmases and birthdays and anywhere where the expectation is so high that it's like a day of joy, or it's meant to be a day of joy, or a day of warmth, or a day of being open to feeling love, or being, there's a vulnerability that comes with that. That for me, sometimes I shut down and get very low on my birthday, and sometimes it's not, like last year I had a very pensive sort of solo birthday, and I intentionally was like, I think I'm gonna spend the day on my own. I'm gonna go out for dinner by myself, and I'm gonna get to sit by myself and come home and read a book, and it was like actually really nice, and very if you look at it, it's very lonely, but I didn't feel that way about it, like I felt pretty good about it. I love my own company. This year was a difficult one because I was open. I wanted to feel engaged in that sort of celebratory nature.
Got you.
But sometimes when, and this is another part of it, like, when the people around you, people love you, you can't expect anyone's mental health to take a day off just because it's a special day. Go, can we? Do you mind if you're not struggling tomorrow because it's actually my birthday?
Out of office email.
Yeah, exactly. And
sorry, anxiety's away for the weekend,
guys.
so we'll be back on Monday. You like to leave anything? Oh, I love that.
100%. So even yesterday, on my birthday, like there was an element of, I could really, someone I love very much, trying incredibly hard to be present and not let the current situation or the recent situations engulf them and engulf the day. And then I suppose the feeling would be that dragged me down with it. And I love them so much for I could see the effort.
Yeah.
And that was everything. And I almost same have to rebuke myself for not being able to maintain the level of composure.
I said I had to rebuke
myself. I got that from you and I love it. I use it every day now, bro. You said it in lockdown one time. You're like, bro, I had to rebuke myself this morning. And I was like, yeah. And I Googled what it meant. And I was like, I'm using that for now.
I'm going to rebuke myself.
I'm going to start rebuking everyone. Everyone's getting rebuked around here.
You know what? I blame. Anyway, keep going.
Anyway, yeah, bro. So, yeah, but so the day, it was like there's a sort of how to describe it. It's like landmines throughout the day, and gracefully navigating these landmines.
Oh, I love that.
Until around 8 p.m. And when suddenly
I
wasn't capable. I have to be accountable for it as well, 'cause I wasn't capable of being like, let me diffuse that real quick. Let me get in there with my little tweezers and diffuse that. I was like, we're on landmine, bang, and if everything's over, and then the world, and fucking trash the room. Like, that's not what happened, but emotionally that's what happened. And man, but I sort of want to, I guess, touch on, and I suppose just sort of like acknowledge. I hear this conversation had a lot that, it's all right on those days to be like, I can't reach the expectation.
There you go.
I can't. That's fine, and that's cool, man. You don't know if it's Christmas and you're like, well, shit, I feel the saddest I've ever felt. That's cool, man. It's all good. It's just a day, And I think a lot of people struggle on those days because the pressure's so high, and you don't feel anywhere near that.
No.
And I think it would be a healthier way to exist for all of us if we're just like, yeah, this is how I feel, so I'm gonna tap out. Or not tap out. I mean, like, no, I'm saying like, seclude yourself in your room and like that would make things worse. But be able to ride the natural, organic, fucking terrain.
Yes.
Because you can't control that. It's raining.
Acceptance.
Yeah.
Acceptance is the greatest catalyst to what I call transformational change. One of my dad wrote some Christian literature about 20 years ago. Yeah, and
of course he did.
And I'm actually rewriting it.
Oh, what? Wow.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
For two reasons: A, the man's a genius, and B, I'll definitely get paid off of that. I told him. I said, I'm gonna rob your book, and then take your son to court. I don't care. I'll be like, Your Honor, I'm glad we're here because I've been waiting for some what I call
spiritual remuneration.
Listen, some balanced judgment because this guy is taking the Michael.
That's
and
amazing.
It's a beautiful book because what he does is I work with a lot of at-risk and vulnerable young people.
Yeah.
And I read my dad's book for homework.
Oh, interesting.
100%.
Had you read it before? Was that first time?
No, I'd kind of read excerpts and stuff.
Okay.
But I'll be honest with you, like, you know me, like, I'm very similar to my dad in ways.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like if he's written it, I already know it. So time will allow me just to see it. And yeah, it's all good.
I got that. It's already in there, bro. I didn't read it.
But I realised that I'd missed a massive thing because obviously, we know that when you read something, how it goes in, how you receive it, it's more powerful, whatnot. And I read some of my dad's book, and the basis of acceptance is fundamental to fixing anything.
Yeah.
If you don't start step one with acceptance of an awareness of where you are, you cannot change a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot change a thing. And why I feel that even what you're saying is this is amazing because I think it's not only going to help you, it's not only going to help me, it's going to help everybody listening because today we're going to accept some stuff.
Oh, what are we accepting today? Let's get into it.
We're going to accept that perfection is not a thing.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's an ideal.
Pursuit. Yeah. It's
Do you understand? And real perfection, and we've said this before, it's actually an intention. So the minute that I understand perfection is an intention and not an ideal, I am now willing and ready to trade projection for perception. Because now I'm going to ask myself, before I feel you, do you have the capacity? Because if I'm trying to just feel you on the basis of what I think you can take, I'm pouring and not measuring.
And also, do I have the capacity?
100%.
The amount of time I'm certain myself in situations and I'm like, ooh.
But sometimes you've also got to remember that when you love, love will cause you to push yourself to limits and places that you can't always sustain.
Yep.
Make sense?
100%.
Like, love is what I call it, its heavenly super form. Is like, do you remember in Sonic?
Where heavenly super form.
Honestly,
TM.
Bro, you remember in Sonic when you used to go to the labyrinth level and he used to get in a little bubble and Sonic, like, you couldn't get hit because the bubble protected him from the madnesses around everything else. So you could get hit a couple times by them crazy crabs, the little spiky things, and Sonic was like, don't worry, player, I'm cool. Because but I tell you what, you keep hitting it, you'll lose that. And all of a sudden now Sonic, every couple of minutes, has to run to a little oxygen bubble thing, sit there, bloop, 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 bloop. And all while you're bloop, blooping, the crab's coming, you know. Excuse me. The crab is coming, Lucas. And a lot of the time, that's how love is in the format that we're speaking of.
Yeah.
Because what it does is it puts us in this bubble that we realize we're in an environment where it's attacking the thing that's protecting us.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%.
And a lot of the time, because of what is trying to penetrate that protective bubble and layer, is what we love. So we won't stop it because subconsciously we want to be there for that thing. We need it to have access to us.
Yeah.
And so I think even in what you were saying is that acceptance in that first initial stage is that, okay, cool, this is what's happening, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
So I can elevate, but at the same time as me elevating, there are some things on ground level that I also have to deal with.
What? 100%. I wonder, okay, maybe it'd be interesting for us to answer for the people that I reckon will question this in the comments on TikTok.
Yeah, of course.
Is how do we find the baseline of truth to find acceptance in terms of in ourselves?
How do you find the baseline of truth to find acceptance in ourselves?
So if I'm, there's times when I've been in arguments with someone I love throughout my life, anyone, and I believe I'm right to the ground, to my grave. I'm right.
Yeah.
And the next morning after a shower and getting that sleep, I'm like, actually, when I think about that, I was being pretty unreasonable. And I suppose actually they probably felt like da-da-da-da-da.
Where does that happen?
Ooh.
Because that's the answer to the question you just asked.
Right. Where does that happen?
Where does that happen?
In terms of the dynamic when that arises?
Well, both.
Or where does it happen within myself?
Both.
So I suppose on a literal, pragmatic, tangible level,
Mm-hmm.
and we spoke about this, I think, we spoke about this before, being defensive when I feel that my intention isn't being recognized, or that my intention is being dismissed. That I was trying to do this thing, I fell short, but I was trying to do this thing, can that not stand for something? And I get defensive. That's when I find that I'm the most susceptible to throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yes.
And not taking pause. Because I'm like, well, I know what the truth is. I'm a kind, good, nice person and I care about you. So if you're challenging that, then forget about it. And where it happens in myself that I recognize that is the calm, higher understanding, the capital YU that when you're making it, when you're like, I don't drink that much, but people who drink always have that, or I've experienced when I was younger, that feeling like, okay, I need to stop drinking now. Like I'm done.
I know when the night has come to it.
Yeah. I know that now.
And I'm amazing at disappearing.
Bro, I can be, forget French checks, I'm gone, bro.
Lucas, that man
No
thinks
time
I'm to
to
the toilet.
classify where it's from.
4 hours later. Are you at
Never
home?
seen Sean?
Yep.
Yeah, I've been sleeping, bro.
And sometimes I'm asking till the next morning.
100%.
My
100%.
time had come. One needed to depart.
But it happens so quick as well. You know when you're sitting there like,
Lucas.
I'm going to leave in 30 seconds.
Because you know you. And you know the intrinsic detectors.
Yeah.
It might be a little extra saliva in the mouth that goes, oh, I'm about to be sick. Or you may have been walking through the venue. And you thought that was a banister, and it weren't.
Yeah, bruv.
A man nearly tripped. And you're like, yeah, I think it's time to... Luke's.
When that voice... Sorry, brother. Sorry.
No, go.
I was going to say, just finish that thought. When that voice kicks in, in that next day scenario, or that, you know, in the shower, whatever, when that higher self goes, listen, man, you've had enough.
Yes.
And I think that voice always knows better as well. That's the wild thing. Almost always knows better. If you can minimize the time between that voice speaking and you listening, your life will improve tenfold, is what I found.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
If you can get them right next to each other now, great.
Do you know what? The reason why I asked you the question, like, where does this happen, is for this simple reason. When we go through a trauma-triggering situation, the thing that we default setting usually go for is what I call a soul conversation or a soul rant. Because what the soul is your mind, your will, and your emotion. So it's where your emotional palette and balance lay. What you're starting to move into is that you are trading soul conversation for heart negotiation. Where is the heart? The heart isn't on the left side of the chest. Well, it is. The organ.
The heart.
The organ that,
I like that,
pumps the blood around the body and is this fleshy piece of loveliness in the middle that keeps us circulating as a physiological being. Yes, that is the organ part of it. But the essence of when we say the heart, we're actually talking about the subconscious mind.
The emotional reasoning.
It's deeper than that, because your subconscious mind is not your head. So remember when we go, don't let your heart rule your head?
Yeah.
It's saying, don't allow, the basis of that is don't allow the subconscious, which lays in a place that you do not understand the foundation, the JavaScript that's running that. Because that was predestined. We say it all the time. We see little white kid, little black kid, racism is not clear. So then how do they get to being, I don't like white people, or I don't like black people? Yeah. Because the heart, the subconscious mind, has already been laid with the laws of what they're meant to be as a being. That's purity in its highest form. Yeah. So then it's the soul, it's the emotional balance of the world around them that begins to shape what they become. That's how they become, oh, I don't like that. Oh, I like this. I'm not sure about that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
And you can put way too much emphasis on how you feel. You can think how you feel is so important.
Lucas, how you feel is so temporary, it's unbelievable.
Oh, bro, I can't trust how I feel 80% of the time.
So what we're doing is we're going, okay, cool. Let me not overly invest in the season. Let me understand the cycle. Let me go deeper. 4 seasons. Every year that we've all lived, we've gone through a spring, a summer, an autumn, and a winter. Most of our summers last for 3 days to 1 week. Yeah, most of our winters last for maybe 2 or 3 months. But we go through these 4 cycles, 4 seasons. Those 4 seasons equal 1 cycle. So then why on earth are you going through expecting every cycle to feel like a prolonged summer or a prolonged spring? Yeah. So then where we need to get to is a place where the heart negotiation is what lays down the fundamentals of the agreement. Yeah. Because in the heart negotiation, there is no basis of favoritism. The heart only responds to truth. And the minute it stops doing that, which is why I always say to people, we all have an intrinsic socket. The only way you lose the connection to that intrinsic socket is if you consistently desensitize yourself to it through action, because repetition creates habit, habit shapes your mentality, mentality determines your character, or you bury it. And you put so much in front of it that you forget it's even there. And then it becomes easy to believe that you're regulating the temporary throne that you sit on. And you're convincing yourself that this temporal kingdom of your mind and your heart is regulated by you. But no true kingdom can be toppled externally. That's why we have walls. That's why we have towers and scouts. That's why we have watchmen. Your subconscious mind. Oh my God. Oh, Lucas.
I'm about to flip this day.
Bro, I am trying to help us all build the bridge of manifestation from your subconscious mind, your heart. And I'm telling you, if you cross this bridge and get there. So, on the basis of what you're saying, I love it because the progression of where you are to where you are lets me know that you're ready to stand not only alongside, but to also cover. Because you don't have to judge you based on them. You judge you based on what's inside of you, and then you pour out to them.
Brother, I love you.
Oh, bro.
Grateful for another year on this planet to be spent with beautiful people who I appreciate and respect. And thank you for listening to Spill, everyone.
Happy birthday, Luke.
Love you, man. Love you, Jam. Love you, Sean. Listen to our sign up to our Patreon.
Yes. YouTube.
Subscribe. Do all this stuff.
Insta, Spotify.
I'm no longer in the physical realm from that last bit of that.
So then I get to do it.
Oh, sweet,
Guys.
yeah, right. Joe, bro.
Guys, please, if anything that we're saying is resonating with you, subscribe, YouTube, Insta, Spotify. We have a Patreon. Feel free. Seed time and harvest. We just want to sow so that as many people that may not be in the position to can eat. On a soul level and a spirit level. So, yeah. Peace. Have a great one. See you soon.